Hello again, and welcome to another edition of Portal Season 2024. My name is JT. I am publisher / Commodore / owner at auburnsports.com, and thank you for being part of this, our 11th show on the Portal season. Today we're going to be talking about everything that's going on with the portal relating to Auburn, and we're going to talk about a few things that aren't exactly related, but they are kind of tangentially related, and we'll kind of talk about that as we move on. The news today is that Connor Gibbs, kind of out of nowhere, really, the kicker from Southern Miss, has signed with Auburn, and I think this is a good thing. With Alex McPherson, obviously kicked just a little bit last season, but dealing with some physical ailments that they still are struggling to get under control. He still lost a lot of weight. Alex is way under the weight that he should be at when he's playing football, and so they're still working on that. And I think at this point the staff is like, I don't know if he's going to be able to get back or not, or what his time frame is. Obviously, kicking was something where Auburn had some struggles last year. Towns Magoo came in as a true freshman. He was supposed to be playing behind Alex, and they had to rely on him, and he just wasn't quite there. They went on to Ian Vachon, who was like the backup, the third guy, the walk-on, and he did okay, but he showed some of the same problems that Towns did. So the staff looked forward in the next season and said, we've got to get somebody we can count on to come in here and maybe challenge Alex if he's ready to go, challenge Towns. You never know what Ian Vachon might be able to do. So I think this is an important signing. It's not like Jackson Arnold or anything like that, but I think it shows that they're really looking ahead and trying to be sensitive to the situation that Alex is going through. It's something that we're all upset about, those of us who know him, those of us who want to see him do well. It's tough. It's a tough situation. So we've added Connor Gibbs to the Portal Edition stash there. I have chosen to give him a B. 10 of 13 from field goals, 7 of 10 from point afters, which you're like, what? But he had 2 of them blocked this year, and I think they had a lot of trouble with just getting their special teams sorted. Just a lot of parts of the whole operation there at Southern Miss were struggling last year. So I'm not going to put that one on him too much. He did hit a 59-yarder this past season, so he's got some leg on him for sure, and I think he's going to be a solid kicker for them. So I'm going to give him a B. That might be a little bit higher than some people would give him because he wasn't like some All-American or anything, but I think, look, man, if it just had decent kicking this year, Auburn would have won more games. There's no doubt about it. Eric Singleton, the outstanding slot receiver from Georgia Tech, is still here. He had his big visit like a week ago, 9 days ago, something like that. Came back a day ago or 2 days ago, and he's just kind of hanging out. Now, he has known Kenyatta for a long time. Tay Seymour, who's been here as well, is like his best friend and his roommate at Georgia Tech. So it's not like some kind of cold or informal. It is informal, but cold or weird kind of deal. He's hanging out with friends, with people he knows, and I think he's just getting to know the staff a little bit better. And I think his mom's here with him. Well, I know that. And she's getting to know the staff a little bit better, and I think they're trying to understand exactly what the NIL implications are of him making the move to Auburn. So I think it's good that Auburn's got Eric Singleton on campus still. I mean, he's absolutely one of the most coveted players in the portal at this point. So it's a spot where Auburn, I think, would benefit from getting a little more depth. At wide receiver, things are a little bit dicey. However, there was news this afternoon that Malcolm Simmons, one of Auburn's most exciting young players on the team, he was a true freshman last season out of Alex City, has signed a new NIL deal to remain at Auburn in 2025. I think this is big. We've been kind of wondering on the show, if Singleton were to sign with Auburn, how does that affect Malcolm Simmons? Because those two guys have similar skill sets. Malcolm is lightning fast, and so is Eric Singleton, and they both play slot receiver. And we were kind of wondering, hey, if Singleton comes in here, isn't Malcolm going to feel threatened? Well, Freeze and the offensive staff's been kind of preaching this concept of, hey, we don't need one fast guy. We don't need 2 fast guys. We need several fast guys, and we think that you guys can coexist. And not only that you guys can thrive together. And I think it's good that Auburn stepped up from an NIL perspective to show Malcolm that he is appreciated, and he's definitely part of what they're doing. They put their money where their mouth is, so to speak, and Malcolm is going to be here next season. So that is terrific. You look at the wideout depth, we showed this yesterday, and it hasn't changed at all since then. But you see what Malcolm signed there at the slot receiver spot. That's good. And you've got Sam Jackson can play that spot too, capably. And then Bryce Kane is one where you're kind of wondering, okay, where does he fit in? I know the coaching staff likes him and they're happy with him. And, he redshirted last year, but he's got a chance to come in here. He's super fast too. So anyway, Malcolm Simmons going to be here next season, and that is very good. One guy who will not be here next season, which is unfortunate for Auburn, is Charles Kelly, who has taken the head coaching job at Jacksonville State. And Charles Kelly, of course, co-defensive coordinator, worked with safeties this year, trusted confidant of D.J. Durkin, of Hugh Freeze. And Charles Kelly, I think the most important thing he did, he's a very positive dude, and he has a lot of experience coaching. So, there's a lot of good things about him. But I think what's most important is that he's a great recruiter, and he knows the state of Alabama. He's from Alabama. He's been recruiting the state of Alabama for decades. And I think when you lose someone like that to Jacksonville State, he's obviously going to be in the state, but like Auburn needs, when they consider replacing Charles Kelly, they need someone who's a good recruiter. You can find those, but someone who knows the state and who knows the coaches from Rogers down to Tillman's Corner and everywhere in between. You've got to know these people, and you've got to have relationships with these people. It's something Charles Kelly's been doing for decades, again, like I said, and they're going to have to go out there and find somebody of very high caliber to replace Charles Kelly. Now, on the short term, Auburn did announce or came to the conclusion yesterday, that would have been late Thursday night, that TJ Rushing, who has been kind of a special assistant at Auburn this past season, is going to be promoted to assistant coach. Now, it was kind of a folly as far as reporting what he was going to do. The information I got initially is that he was going to coach edges, which is a little bit odd because he's a cornerback. He played cornerback for the Colts in the NFL, and he's coached nothing but cornerbacks in his college career as a coach. So I was like, he's going to coach edges? Okay, whatever, with Josh gone to ECU. But then Jason Caldwell, my friend from Inside the Auburn Tigers, Auburn Undercover, he was saying that he was going to be coaching another position. I ended up changing it to say he was going to coach nickels. I think Justin Hokanson over at On3 said something else. And I think there was just some general confusion. Well, it comes out the next morning that Charles Kelly's leaving for JSU. And to me, all of a sudden, the confusion became very clear. They weren't sure what to say about TJ because it wasn't assumed already that Kelly was going to be leaving. So they didn't want to say what he was going to be doing. I think he'll end up coaching safeties at the end of the day, and nickels too, potentially, to kind of replace Charles Kelly, which would leave a spot open at that edge position, or depending on what DJ wants to coach, at linebacker or something. I really think Auburn needs to, when they replace that spot, they fill that spot, got to go get somebody who knows the state. I'm telling you, there's people out there, there's coaches out there, maybe a successful high school coach in the state who can bring enthusiasm, who knows the coaches, who understands how to recruit and how to coach. You've got to find somebody. And Hugh isn't necessarily great about breaking out from his tree to find guys, but this is more of a Durkin thing. TJ Rushing, in particular, coached under Durkin at Texas A&M for 2 seasons, coached cornerbacks at A&M. So Durkin brought Rushing over here knowing he didn't have a spot for him last year, and then when one opened, he definitely filled it. Durkin is totally on board with Rushing. I know some people on the bunker were like, man, I hope this is somebody that Durkin wanted. Oh, yeah, it absolutely was. There's no doubt about that. Let me go to the Beast list. It's just something we check when we're at the end of the show. Nothing has changed here. We're still looking to see what happens with Clev Lubin. And as we mentioned on the show yesterday, Searcy from Florida, Clev Lubin from Coastal Carolina, 2 edges, 2 excellent portal edges. We'll just have to see which one of those guys Auburn ends up kind of coming to terms with, whether it's a money thing or a positional thing or what each guy brings. I don't know. They're still kind of working that out, but I am very curious to see what they choose to do there. So that is your daily wrap-up at Auburn. We're still keeping a very close eye on Eric Singleton to see if he's going to pop maybe later tonight. It could be Saturday. It could be Sunday. I think it would happen within a few days, though. And then from there, we'll just have to plot a different course. At that point, Auburn, assuming Auburn were to get him, that would be 12 players added, and, well, you're getting toward the end of the road there. So anyway, I'll wrap it up there. If you guys are enjoying the content, I know you guys have been watching. Thank you so much for that. Please consider hitting the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Turn those notifications on. It helps the channel grow, and it's very nice for me. Thank you guys. I will see you guys again on Saturday for another update. Until then, and we're going to be doing a live stream. I thought about that. Auburn's playing Purdue on Saturday in basketball, and we do live streams here on the channel as well. So we'll work on that, and I'll be keeping up with you guys on the portal as well. Until then, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. Make good decisions on the weekend, guys. Peace.